Good evening, wrestling fans. This is Jughead82, and I want to let you guys know that this is Extreme. This is a video response to Spinternet about basically wrestling marks. People who think they know everything about the wrestling business when they know absolutely nothing. One second. First thing I want to say, guys, is if you were like me, you grew up watching wrestling from the 80s. And back then you had the WWE, well, WWF back then. And it was a great time for me as a wrestling fan also. The first time I actually got a chance to watch wrestling was when I was probably 4 years old or 3 years old, sitting on my granddaddy's lap. And we watched Saturday Night Main Event. And it was a great time, like I said, to be a wrestling fan. I started watching wrestling then, and by me in Mississippi, Mid-South was the wrestling that we watched a lot also. So I got to see Ernie Big Cat Glad, and I heard a lot about him from my dad as well. And when you have these people on YouTube or on any particular blogging site that talk about, yeah, you're not a real wrestling fan if you don't remember ECW, the original, and you're not a real wrestling fan. I have to disagree. If you like watching wrestling, then you're just a wrestling fan. It doesn't have anything to do with whether or not you started watching 20 years ago or started watching 2 years ago. If you're a wrestling fan, you're a wrestling fan. Of course, since the internet's been around, I've been able to find out what's going on in the world of professional wrestling, left and right, from who's going to what company. But even before you had the internet, you had the WCW hotline, which was a hotline that WCW had that was giving you rumors also. And you also had the tape traders, and you had, everything, especially for the original ECW, because many people didn't get a chance to see the original ECW in their particular neighborhood, and the tape traders was the best thing to get your chance to watch wrestling. Now, I couldn't sit there and say, oh, you're not a diehard wrestling fan because you don't watch wrestling every week. I don't think everybody just watch wrestling every week. I watch Raw, and I watch ECW, and I watch SmackDown, I watch TNA, but I don't really watch this on a consistent basis as I would like. But that doesn't mean I'm not a wrestling fan. I love the product. I've loved the product for years. Probably more than anything, I loved it more during the Attitude Era, as well as when WWF was going against WCW. Really great time to be a wrestling fan, in my opinion. But you have, like I say, these people that feel that they're a bigger wrestling fan than you because maybe they go to pay-per-views. I've never been to a wrestling pay-per-view. I would love to go to either TNA or WWE, but I've never been able to do it. And the few times we had a Monday Night Raw a couple years back in Biloxi, Mississippi, which was the closest I had of actually attending, and we had a couple of live events that they have in Jackson, Mississippi, the capital of my state. But that doesn't mean I'm not a wrestling fan. And I think people, they sit there and feel, ooh, well, you have to been able to, at least been to WrestleMania, man. Because if you've never been to WrestleMania, you're never really a wrestling fan. Fuck you. Okay? Fuck you, man. I'm a wrestling fan. And I'm not a mark. I don't try to sit there and pretend I know everything about what goes on in wrestling. Because I really don't. And sure, I have an opinion about John Cena. Don't get me wrong, I respect the guy, but I just think his gimmick is shitty. It's been used for almost 5 years now, so it's really not, working right now. And I think maybe, it's just me. And plus, I think his gimmick also has been watered down. But then again, that don't make, oh, you think you know everything. No, I just feel that his gimmick has been watered down over the past couple of years. From even changing the name of his finishing move from the FU, so what is it called? The throwback, or a stick shit back, or quarterback, or I don't know. But it's just like, something of that nature. But then again, I would be not considered a wrestling fan because I'm dissing John Cena, and I'm not really dissing. I just don't really like how the WWE is using this character right now. And the same with DX, they awarded them down a little bit as well. If you go back to some of the X-rated, hardcore DX stuff from the Attitude Era, from the whole thing with the women showing their tits, come on, guys, that was, but now DX is merchandise whores, and we already know that every time we watch Raw. But I still respect Triple H and I still respect Shawn Michaels. But once again, that's the creative team. I feel for me, as a wrestling fan, you have, different things you can get from the sport of wrestling, and I feel it's a sport because the physicality is there, and everything in between is, there as a wrestling fan. And now you have casual wrestling fans who don't watch wrestling as much, but yet and still they will get, a little fix every now and then on their wrestling. But, this was a response video to Spinnernet 1. If you guys haven't seen Spinnernet 1, he has a great channel, very, very knowledgeable about wrestling, but not in a mark sense. He's one of those people who lets you know what's going on and, doesn't really try to push it here or there, but, he's very opinionated, but, that's one thing you get out of his videos. And, like I say, guys, this is Jughead82, signing off. Hold on one second. That's good shit. And I do approve this message.